What is up, YouTube? This is Bradley, aka Shadow Puppet, and today I want to talk about what I think is still the most OP attack 9v9 in Clash of Clans. And I say still because this is a pretty old school attack. It's the Queen Walk Laloon or Lalo, um, with 3 hounds. So no boulders, no weight slap, none of that new fancy stuff. And you can see I start out by creating a bottom portion of the funnel with a wizard. I'm going to create a top portion with another wizard right here just to kind of force her in. And what I'm doing right here is I'm forcing her to go in and go after those 2 air defenses and the queen. So the strategic goal of this attack is to get 1 air defense, the queen, the CC, and at least 30 to 35%, or 2 air defenses, the queen, and the CC with less percent. And I say the percentage kind of matters because if you try and rush the attack and you only get 1 air defense, but you don't get a good 30% of the base, what you'll find is uh, if you rush the air portion and drop it too soon before the queen eats up a large chunk of the base, there's kind of too much for the air to take out. And you'll see that more in the second raid here. But this first raid, I was able to go ahead and step up, get 2 air defenses, get the queen, and get the CC. So I could start the air portion a little bit sooner. So there the queen goes down. Got to engage the CC right here. If you see 2 Valks in the CC, rule of thumb at Townhall 9 is go ahead and plan it on popping off that queen once those Valks get in range. And what that's going to do is just make sure your queen stays alive. Now, if you have Baby Drag Dragon or Baby Drag Witch is pretty popular. For those type of clan castles, I'd recommend actually not popping her off and just using a poison and a rage, or just a poison and trying to eat through it. Because a lot of times you'll see you can save a rage for later in the raid if that's the case. So right here, the air portion is working in slowly, and you can see there's 2 expos and all 4 wizard towers right here. So what I'm going to do is, because there's no air defenses here to kind of tank those defenses, I'll just drop a hill down to make sure that the loons work through that stuff without any real issue. Drop an additional haste. And you can see I still have 2 hounds up top that the air defense is working on, and it's only going to get 1 of them. So you get 2 air defenses down, and you end up with a hound left over a lot of times in this raid. And it's not a big deal, but it's just something to keep in mind. And it's also nice to know that you have that hound there. So if you encounter additional traps, or if you do end up leaving 3 air defenses up, you have that hound to help tank for you. So we'll go ahead and fast forward as a cleanup troop does work here. Just use the king in this raid just for cleanup, and that's the first triple. The second attack was actually a fresh raid. So the goal here was to actually get the queen to get this first air defense and step around and get the second air defense. But as you can see here, the plan is not going to plan. I see a bunch of gobs come out. I see a witch. I see a baby drag. And I say, great. I can just basically ignore this CC, let the queen eat through it for a second, not panic, not pop her ability, not use her rage. And at this point, I'm just thinking about my funnels. And I'm looking up here, and I'm thinking, I want to get that barracks down, because if that barracks is down, there's no way she's going to walk north. She'll definitely come down south. And I'm going ahead and creating the southern portion of my funnel with a king and a wizard. So get that top barracks down, and the queen is definitely going to go where I want her to go. I see a few Teslas pop, and I get pretty excited because that means that's just less defenses in the middle of the base that I have to worry about. And the goal here was to break in right on that gold storage so that she would step up, get the wizard tower, and get the air defense. But as you can see right here, it kind of hits that corner, and the queen is going to walk in a direction that I did not intend for her to. So at this point, the plan is not going to plan. So what I do is I let the attack carry on for a bit longer. I realize I'm not going to get those 2 air defenses down. I'm only going to get 1. I'm going to get the queen and the CC. And so what I have to do is I have to let that queen eat up a good 30 to 35% of the base and help create a little pocket of, I would say, nothingness, so that the loons have a smoother path throughout the base. So I'm going to wait for her to get to that air defense. She takes out the first expo right here. And once she gets the air defense down, that pathing for the loons is a lot smoother through this base. You can see there's 2 wizard towers on the outside, which is kind of poor design if you ask me, because if you start the Lalo there, you can go right into those wizard towers without any real concern. So this wasn't the plan with the air portion, but it's what ended up happening, and it's really, you can see it's not that bad. It's pretty effective. I have an extra rage still that I intended to use for the queen walk to help get her moving. But as you can see, the queen walk didn't go to plan, so I now have that rage to use right here. We have 1 hound popped, about to have a second one pop right here. And that third hound is going to make its way over to the air defense. You can see we have a lot of loons left, so no real worries about the raid in terms of getting the defenses down. So that last hound didn't even pop for me. And you can see the base is pretty well gutted up. Have cleanup troops working around now. Get that last haste just to kind of rush the loons through some trash buildings. And again, the big takeaway from this video is the timing. Is you want to let that queen work and walk for a while, for a bit longer than you think she should, to let her really eat up some of those defenses so that your air portion doesn't struggle. You can see both raids I had a helm live. And so I'd like for you to try this in friendly challenge. Let me know what kind of success you have with it. If you have any more questions, just hit me up. And like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what else you want to see in the future.